Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. You guys are phenomenal. Phenomenal. I've been to 39 states in this great nation. I don't know of one real estate company that comes near to this conference. Not one. In fact, the average conferences send about 10% of the people. The company that drinks the Kool-Aid, which I was part of for 17 months, then I got saved. 10 to 12%. Most companies that put anything on, that's what they get. Maybe 25%. But just about 50% of people of your company attend this. It's phenomenal. And you can all give yourselves a hand for that. Absolutely. So every day in my life, people ask me, so where are you from? And I say, San Diego. You see them on, yeah, right? Well, I think you got the most cutest accent, Tracy. I really do.
From New Mexico originally, makes no sense.
I think you speak beautifully. The American, well, thank you, but the American accent is my favorite accent. My favorite word in the American accent is the word nasty. I love the way Americans say it's nasty. If you're from South Africa, England, or Britain, it's, oh, that's nasty. That doesn't even sound nasty, but Americans say, that's nasty. You're like, oh, you feel it, right? Or an American says, that car's going fast. And in Australia, South Africa, and England, we say, that car's going fast. It doesn't even sound like it's going fast. But fast is you can feel the acceleration. So I love the way you guys talk. And there's so many times people are like, oh, what did you mean when you say that? You know, so I'm from South Africa, so that makes me an African-American without a tan. That's who I really am. I've had some weird sayings and really coming to America. People say to me, so how often do you go home? And I said, well, I go home every night. Where the hell do you go? Like, people say they're home, and then it's somewhere in Philadelphia, but they live here. Like, that's not your home. My home's when I go home every night. Where my family is, where my dog is, everywhere. That's my home. Nowhere else. You know, I'm very proud of this great nation and the United States. I love this place. I love the people of this country. I've been here 20 years, and it's just phenomenal. This country. We don't realize the opportunities that we have. I'll be in South Africa in about 10 days' time, and every single day in South Africa, they at least have between 4 hours to 8 hours of no electricity. Everywhere in the nation. Every single day. And sometimes I can't call my parents. I call them every single day of my life. I call my parents every day. But some days I can't call them because there's no electricity. It's like daily. So we've got so many opportunities here. And with a phenomenal, what Dan was sharing up here, Dan just phenomenal presentation about where we are as a nation and just the business world and the opportunities. So today I want to talk about 5 habits to get more eyes on you 2020, because it is 2020, it's 2020, right? Which means vision, which means clear vision, which means great eyesight. So that's what we've got to look at: clear vision, great eyesight, visibility. We're talking about image, because that's about seeing. We're talking about your eyes for this year, okay? We're talking about looking, appearance, spectacular, spectacles, windows. We're talking about sight. Okay, what about sight? Clarity on vision. All these things. How do you see 220? How do you see yourself in 220? And of course, like a movie, your life is a movie. But it's about presentation. It's about your client's perception of you. But there's also a lot about blindness. People are not seeing what the opportunities we've really got. Sometimes they say, always the immigrant's got to come and show. I don't really believe that. But a lot of us have been blind to certain things and visionless. Loss of sight, okay? And people who don't have vision perish. Okay, we know that. We've heard that thousands of times. And here's a picture of my father, who's the oldest African ever to do an Ironman. 78 years old, okay? And I've done one Ironman, and many halves. But my father at 78, you swim 2.4 miles, you bike 112 miles, and then you run 26 miles. But he stopped at 78. Why? Because his eyesight, his vision started going, and he wasn't safe on the bicycle, and said, no more on the bicycle. But guess what happened? When his sight stopped, everything started stopping. He lost vision. He couldn't see, couldn't do the things that he wanted. And everything, his world began to get smaller. I love my father. He's 87 years today, or just, now. But his life got smaller. And when our vision, we can't see things clearly, or we can't see ourselves clearly, our lives get smaller. And yet the opportunities are still there, but we can't see them. So, 5 habits to get more eyes on you in 2020. How many of you want more eyes on you this year? This is what this is year about. This year is the year of that. It even says 2020. But even so, Dan backed it up with statistics saying that this is a great climate to increase. We're living in the most perfect time right now. And Dan gave all the reasons why at the beginning. So I want to talk about habits, right? We're talking about the 5 habits. So why did habits become really important to me? Well, I was one of 15 around the world chosen to do the last celebrity launchpad on CNN, 15 around the world. And so we're preparing for this. It was 5 nights and 4 days, one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I never knew it when I signed up for it. But what happened was, 3 weeks before going to CNN, there were about 40 of us on this call, and the coach said to me, Kurt, I'm going to unmute you tonight, and we're going to create your segment proposals that you're going to pitch before television producers all around the country. He's going to unmute me. I got so nervous, like I've got to perform in front of everybody. We're going to create my segment proposal. Yeah. My first question to you, Kurt, what's the title of your book? Well, I'm dyslexic, very dyslexic, and I've never read a book. No jokes. Never finished a book in my life. I do a lot of audiobooks all the time, audiobooks. But I've never read a book or finished it. So what's the title of your book? It's not out yet. When's it going to be out? I said, 2019. I thought, oh, about 2019. He said, no, it's not. You're not going to CNN without a book. He said, and that's in 3 weeks' time. He said, by next week, I want a title, I want a cover, and it's got to be off to the publishers. By next week? So I stopped everything except go to the bathroom, and I wrote for 4 days. And that's the book. How to Break Bad Habits and Create Great Ones. And then the release of the book, what really happened was, and I wrote on habits, we came up with a title that night. The title came up that night. And what happened was, did CNN, and the day after that, we launched the book. Maria Shriver, Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-wife, was in 4th position. I was in number 5 position. And then I took over her, and I was in number 1 position on Amazon for 10 days. For 10 days. And I want to tell you, I learned a lot in this process, but I wrote about habits. And you know what? When you want to learn something, teach it. If you want to learn something, just go and teach it. If you don't know something, say, yes, I'll teach that class, because you're going to learn faster than anybody else. So, of course, habits became really, really powerful, right? So also my book's got in copyright. I tell people, just copy it right. That's what copyright means, just copy it right. Okay, so we don't decide our futures. Nobody decides our futures. We decide our habits, and our habits decide our futures. People say, what's your future? What do you want? No, let's talk about the habits, because we don't decide our futures. It's actually the habits that actually decides our futures. Okay, it's the habits that are doing that. So understanding with habits and what we really want to do and be effective. So 99% of our failures come from who have the habit of making excuses. It's more excuses because the opportunity is here. And if you see somebody like myself, I shouldn't be writing books. I mean, I'm dyslexic. It doesn't now. And then I started a publishing company, and I published 10 books on my clients because I saw what it did for me. That's what I did. You see, I ask agents all the time, flying around the country, as I've seen a lot of conferences like this, and this company select group is phenomenal. As I said already, you don't even understand what you've got here. There are very few companies that have got what you've got in this nation. I can tell you that right now. So, like, what is their biggest struggle? Well, Kurt, where's my next listing coming from? Where's my next transaction coming from, right? And reason why we battle with that is because of our bad habits. It's the habits that are really holding us back from getting there, especially in this climate that we're in. Especially, we've got all this opportunity right now. And it's the bad habits that's holding us back. It's just a few habits that we've got to create. Kurt, I'm struggling. I feel all bound up, Kurt. I don't know what to do anymore. Just help me. I'm in turmoil. I'm frustrated. Just help me, Kurt. I have that all the time. I don't have a large marketing budget. I get all excuses. Austin, Texas, we lived there for a year. 14,000 agents, 6,800 agents did no deals. 2018. 7,200 did close at least one deal. One, just one, not two, just one, okay? 1,825 agents did more than 6 deals. Only 13% did 6 or more transactions, okay? Only 9% made an income worth talking about. By the way, these statistics are all across the United States. It's the same thing. There's so many people that are not making it that all they're doing is they're busy being broke. That's all they're doing. Busy being broke. That's what I don't see it all the time. Only 9% of our industry earn an income worth talking about. So yes, I'm passionate about this because I love helping people and seeing them go to the next level. So the 5 habits to focus on, to get more eyes onto you. Because what you focus on expands. Okay, number 1 habit. Number 1 habit, clear on your outcome. Every day, if you go into the office on Monday morning, you must know what my outcome is going to be for Monday, for the day, for the week, for the month, or for the quarter. If you don't know what your outcome is going to be, go home. Go skiing in Tahoe. Go to the beach. Just do something. Go and count the trees in Sacramento. The 50,000 of them that had to be planted after the service company cut them up. Most places I go to, people don't know what the outcome is going to be today. What is my outcome going to be today? We've got to ask ourselves that question every day. If we're not doing that, go home. Take a day off. But don't go into day on Monday not knowing what your outcome is. Because if you don't know what your outcome is, you're not going to get an income. And that's the number 1 thing. Whatever you do, know what the outcome is. Second habit, I'm going through this really fast, is our war cry. We've got a personal war cry. Not going to talk too much about that today. But we've got a business war cry. Everybody. I went to a school in South Africa, a British school, and called Queen's College. And it was very British, Victorian. And we had blazers on. There's a school uniform. There's the exact uniform. But before every game of rugby, we had to do the war cry. Have you seen the New Zealand haka? Ever seen that, right? Now South Africa's got the same thing. And our school, we had this war cry. And it was before every single game. And the war cry went something like this. Ngonyama, ze, tatwilala, wa, enya, zembene, zentatu. And it carries on, okay? And it's like, everyone's like this, saying it before every game. We've got a war cry. Your business got a war cry, okay? It's got a war cry, but we forget about this. Now, if you took a little baby into the Oval Office to see President Trump or Obama, whoever the president is, and you're going to honor that office, and you sit there and you respect the president, no matter who he is, you respect the office. But a little baby that's hungry, he doesn't care who the president is. If he's hungry, he's going to cry. He's going to, shut up, it's President Trump, shut up. I'm on food. I'm on food now. Give me food now. Now, your business is doing the same thing. Your business every day wakes up going, feed me. Feed me now. Your business war cry is revenue. It's revenue. You say, well, I didn't get into this business for money. I got in there to go meet some people and drink coffee and talk and, play solitaire and be on Facebook. And your business is crying for revenue. And your second habit every day, you must know, what am I doing about revenue? Because this baby is hungry and it's crying and making noise. Shut up, baby. Give it something in the mouth. It wants food. The bank account shouting, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Everybody's business doing that. And that when you go in the office is number 1, the outcome. What's my outcome today? Secondly, is what war cry is the revenue. It's crying desperately. Third one for this year is self-image. Oh, this is one of the big ones. And I can speak hours on this stuff. This section we can't today. But self-image is a big thing, right? The way we look at ourselves. 2020 is about image and clarity. You see, if you take the word self-image, it comes from the word imagination. And that's why people can't imagine themselves doing great things or expand their business, because it goes to raise self-image. They can't even see, they can't imagine, because there's a lot of issues in self they're not dealing with. And, the four master influences: self-image, self-esteem, the way you feel about yourself; self-belief, which is about expectation. Okay, so it's belief, expectation; image is like seen; and self-esteem is the way you feel; and self-confidence, which is skills. Okay, so seeing is believing. We've heard that, but there's another side to it as well. Is believing is seeing. We always just thought seeing is believing, but sometimes there are times where you've got to believe something before you even see it. So people can't imagine, they can't imagine themselves. There's no self-image, because seeing is not only believing, but sometimes believing is seeing. There's sometimes you've got to believe something before you can see it. So we know this statement: if you think you can, you're right. If you think you cannot, you're also right. You're all right. Everyone's right. Everybody's right. Democrats and Republicans are all right. Religion, everyone's right. Because whatever you think, you're right. So why do you argue about something? You're not going to change it, especially on Facebook. So if you believe it will work out, you only see the opportunities. If you believe it's not going to work out, you only see the obstacles, right? So true. So it's whatever you see, whatever you believe. So this is in 1998, 1999. And that's me with the sunglasses on. And so in my early 30s, and I had this vision to take this group that I was working with to bigger. I had a group. I said I wanted to take it from 150 people to 600 people, and then I did that, and then took it to bigger than that. Take 850 people away for 5 days. That's what I did. Now you know what it's like to organize a conference, right? Take 850 people, and you take them away camping and chalets for 5 days. And that's the vision I had. And was I criticized? There was only 150 people. Every year, just 150 people. I said, why? If we're going to affect more people and impact more people, why wouldn't we impact more people? So we just took it to 629 and then to 850 people. Was I criticized? They'd say, how can you spend $52,000 on a 4 to 5 day weekend? How can you do that? That's going to, this is wrong what you're doing. I did it, and we did it really well. But I'll never forget, because my belief system and my imagination, how I was criticized. I'll never forget that. For weeks and months of it followed me. So when I was at that other company, they've got a bold course. And I decided, I was the team leader, and I had to make a commitment for bold, the course for 100 people. 100 people, which is $800 per person, to do a 7-week course. $800 to do a 7-week course, and you had to commit to 100, which is $80,000 commitment. So I signed the contract. The owners of the company were mad with me. How could you have signed an $80,000 commitment here in San Diego? How could you have done that? She emailed me. I've got the email there. She knows I showed this, by the way. We're still friends. Liana, they're two good friends. Ashton, why do we set goals that are so far out of line with our experience? Experience? Oh, you mean you failed before? I get it. So, failed before. Never do it again. Please don't ever do it again. Are we trying to demonstrate that we are soliciting failure? Good point, right? Good comment when you make decisions. Think of that. If you can't project reality, you cannot be credible in defining success. Not a nice email, not, hi Kurt, how you doing? How you feeling today? Great employee, whatever. No. Why did you set goals? This is a text I got from one organizer. We are sold out for bold and still counting. We have 114. Ding, 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 ding. Kurt, thank you for reaching out. There's about 150 on the first day and 127 full sessions. It was not 80,000, but 101,600 came in. But I'll never forget what I was told. Your imagination is crazy. Kurt, how can you do this? How can you commit to that? And sometimes we're so scared to commit to things, and we've got to get this habit of our self-image and our imagination, imagining it, and imagine big for this year, because this climate is phenomenal. I'm not talking about the weather. I know the weather's really good right now. No snow. Everyone got over the mountain, right? Fine. The climate, the business climate right now in our nation is phenomenal. And this is the year to work so hard to take action and to imagine and take action on it. You see two people in a room. The person with the strongest self-belief, self-image, self-confidence, they're the ones who win in the room. Whether it's your client taking a listing, wherever you are, they're the ones who are going to win. But if I asked you in your calendar, can you show me you work on your self-image every day? This is the thing that determines our success. Okay, Chuck said some few good things. He was bold yesterday. I would never show a picture of a president on stage because half the room believes the other side. That guy's bold. But I understood what he was saying, right? The president, whether you like him or not, doesn't matter. That guy pretty got some self-image, right? We're not going to argue that, but who agrees? Is anyone who doesn't agree with me about that? We all agree about that point about him, right? Okay. The one who wins with that. So my question is, how do we increase our belief? This is the biggest problem. How do we increase our belief? Okay? How do we increase our belief? Because this is the thing we should be working on, because people, if you've got more belief, higher self-confidence, you're going to win. You walk out winning. So it's the habit of training your brain, right? This is Muhammad Ali. I learned this from him. I've changed it a little bit. But this changed my life significantly. People say, why are you always positive? And why are you always... This had a big effect on it. It's the relentless repetition and rehearsals of our self-affirmation that leads us to our belief. Because when we're 21, we believe we can do everything. And you're 45, and oh my gosh, you're just watching Just Judy every night. I missed it. I'm not going to make it in life. I'm done. So how do you get that belief back that you had at 21 years old? How do you restore it? It's the relentless repetition and rehearsals of self-affirmations. And I don't like doing self-affirmations. That stuff is just nasty. No, it's not me. It's for them. It's for people like you, but not for me. Oh, I was one of those people. Never said a speech in a class for 13 years of school. Never once. I was put in the back corner in a desk because, and you hear my sister talk about it, because they thought I was rebellious, so I wouldn't get up and do a speech. Why? No self-image. So people say, I can't talk in front of people. Oh, shut up, you ugly thing. You just lied. Who told you that? We say, we can't do that, can't be on video. Like, who taught you that? Who told you that? It's a lie. It's the biggest lie. We all can. I used to be one of those quiet kids for years. Ask my family. So when you want to turn things around, and you say, Kurt, I want to be more bold. Kurt, I want to be more positive. Kurt, I want to be more confident. Kurt, I want to believe more. I want to have a greater self-image. It's there for you right now, this day. But how do we restore it? How do we lead us to that? It's the relentless repetition and rehearsals of self-affirmations. And when that leads us to the belief. But this is the key. When this belief becomes a deep conviction, something begins to happen. People say, Kurt, my real estate is not taking off like I wanted it to. You know why? Because there's no conviction. If it's not happening in your business, because there's no conviction. Because when you're convicted, you do anything and everything to accomplish it and get the outcome. People that are not getting the outcomes and that don't do the action, it's because they are missing and lacking conviction. So how do you get more conviction? Well, see, you've got to get that belief to become a conviction. But Kurt, I don't have the belief like I had in 21 years old. Well, I think you should start writing out some affirmations. Because what you talk about, you become. Let me say it reverse. We become the things we talk about. We become the things we talk about. Okay? Your average of 5 people you hang out with. What you eat, what you look like, your income, everything. Dr. David McLaren, social psychologist at Harvard University for 30 years, says, the number one reason you fail or you succeed is from one thing. When I first read it, I thought, no, this is ridiculous. The one thing is the people you hang out with. When I first read it, I didn't believe. When I read his studies, oh my gosh, okay? So this is the same coach, CNN. I was kicked out of their CNN twice. Kicked out. Embarrassing. Get out of here, Kurt. Do you think you can show up and perform like this in front of these television producers, ABC, NBC, CW, CBS, all over the nation, on that level, and you've only rehearsed that amount? Do you think you can pitch and show up like that? Is that what you think? Get out. And you know the first one, I was thrown it twice. You know what the first one was? I couldn't say the title of my own book. Seriously. I was embarrassed walking out. And yeah, I mean, this massive thing in CNN, actually there, down below there, saying my book, title, he said, you're going to say it 50 times. And you're going to write it out 50 times. I don't have time for this. The first evening, starting Wednesday night, for the first 2 hours, they said, we're going to teach you how to say your name. For heaven's sake, I'm 15 years old. I don't say my name. He taught me how to say my name. And I realized that on studios all across America, especially Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, all those anchors say their name in a certain way. And when you say it like that, people never forget you. And you learn this and say it at a networking thing. You practice, you say your name like that. People never forget your name. The most times we forget people's names is because of the way they say it to us. Very interesting. He said, you know why, Kurt? He said, because you haven't rehearsed enough. You go back. You have not rehearsed enough. You can show up like this and you rehearse on that level? He said, you don't rehearse at 100%. Did you get dressed in the clothes when you rehearsed? Did you? I said, no. I was like, what? You dress up in the clothes, everything. You rehearse at 100%. Not as half, 90%, 70%, 80%, or think you know it. And that's what I learned with agents as well. We do that. We just show up at a listing presentation. I've done it for 30 years, so I know what's going to happen. No. We rehearse every single time at 100%. We are created for success. You are created for success. When you came out of the womb, you were created for success. One problem. You were programmed for failure. Our schools programmed you for failure. It's your parents, some perhaps churches even, political parties, our cultures. You know, and I'll show you programmed. Lack, you don't have enough. We don't have enough money. We can't afford that. Daddy can't afford that. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy, money, resources, skills, networking, knowledge. I don't have enough. Clients, health. And that's our belief system. We start believing it. I'm living lack. I don't have enough. And the problem is we always focus on the lack. You say, no, Kurt, I don't. Oh, I'm going to tell you a story. My coach is not a Christian or anything like that. He tells stories about the Bible. And Joel Osteen. I said, you shouldn't be talking about that. You're not even a Christian. He said, but they tell the best stories. I said, okay. He said, you know, the greatest story is Eve could choose from the fruit of every tree in the Garden of Eden, everyone, except one. But she focused on the one she lacked. She had everything else. Whether you believe the story or not, it's a good story. And we all do that. We focus on the thing we lack. We focus on the thing we don't have. And when you focus on lack, you produce lack. So that, unfortunately, you see, we live our lives about our limitations and not our possibilities. We focus on our past failures. Oh, Kurt, why did you sign there for bold? I mean, 80,000 commitment. Don't you know our past experience of failure? So that means we will never, ever have it again? You can't do this, Kurt. You can't do this. You can't even freaking read. You can't write a book. What's your freaking problem? You're not enough, Kurt. You don't have it. This is what stuff was said to me, and I write this stuff down. And by the way, this stuff was said to me in the last 2-3 years. Just keep it current. When a new one comes up, you fell before, Kurt, remember? That's encyclopedias, right? Who remembers Encyclopedia Salesman? Anybody? Okay, some hands. Oh, very few, right? Yeah. Well, you know, I'll never forget, we had a home, Port Elizabeth, South Africa, years ago. I was a kid. Doorbell knocking on the doors. Oh, it's that sales guy again. We're about to eat and he disturbs our dinner and disturbs everything, and they're wrong and they don't respect people. This is my dad talking. I love my dad. But I'm telling the truth. Because it was a disturbance. This encyclopedia guy kept on selling. I'm going to keep on knocking until you buy something. So you grow up having this mantra, sales is bad. Sales is nasty. Sales means disturbance. So that's our belief system, and we're so programmed for this. We're so deeply rooted in our programming of this. Sales is bad. Sales not good. We've got to de- and reprogram ourselves. Inner conflict. We have this inner conflict when we've got to take a listing. Who sells is bad? So your non-conscious says that. And by the way, 70% of all your decisions is made from your non-conscious. So we don't even know this. Our brain is telling us, sales is bad. I'm a bad person going to take a listing. Very, very bad. Very bad knocking the door for farming. Very bad. Naughty me, naughty me. Daddy taught me years ago, they're naughty. How many of you have suffered from that? Right? You know what I'm talking about? Got to break these beliefs and say, Kurt, selling is great. You've got to speak them out. You've got to speak them out. I'll tell you why you're going to speak them out. Because it's a self-image of yours. Kurt, helping people is great, Kurt. Helping people removing their problems is great, Kurt. Helping families is great, Kurt. Their lives, I can help their lives, change their lives. I can take their problems away. I can make people happy, Kurt. That's what I'm doing by helping them. And that's a belief we've got to deprogram our brains, because somewhere deeply rooted inside we've got, oh, there's a car salesman coming. Let's run away. We do this all the time. We're so programmed as kids. We can bring them more income. You see, your tongue is not only designed for you to swallow food. It's not only given, you haven't given 10,000 taste buds to taste, is it sweet, sour, or salty? Your tongue wasn't there just to decide if there's toxins going in your body to protect your body. Your tongue is a catalyst. Your tongue is the most powerful muscle in your whole body. There's not a muscle in your body that comes near the power of your tongue. People die because of their tongue. A friend of mine, I was the 11th grade of school, died in front of me. I went to boarding school that I told you about. And in the hostel, he died in front of me. He swallowed his tongue with an epileptic fit, and he died in front of me. Your tongue, do you know that? People die, some people have had fits have died because they can't breathe because their tongue. Your tongue is the most powerful muscle. Your tongue will kill you if it has to. Fitzgerald was his name. Died in front of me, devastating at whatever age I was, 17. Calling the ambulance, and it wasn't like 911 in America. Your tongue will kill you, man. But your tongue is the most powerful muscle. But guess what? Your tongue cannot just kill you. Your tongue can change your life. You will never go beyond your confession, by the way. You will never go beyond your confession. This agent says, well, I'm always late. And I said, Judy, that's why you're always late. She said, look, what do you mean? I said, you're always late. She said, yeah. Well, that's why you're always late. She said, well, what do you mean? I said, you just told me you're always late. You will never go beyond your confession, honey. Never. You will always be late for the rest of your life until you change what comes out of your mouth. Oh, well, I can't afford that. That's right, you're right. You'll never be able to afford it. You spoke it over. You killed it. You killed the imagination of the dream straight away. We do this all the time. Your tongue is a catalyst. I call it the daily dose, D-O-S-E. D stands for dopamine. O stands for oxytocin. S stands for serotonin. And E stands for endorphins. Your tongue. By the way, take all the cocaine you want and heroin. It will do nothing for your body if you don't have those things. Those are the most powerful drugs. That's what really causes it. You've got the most powerful drug in you. No cocaine, heroin, anything will ever come near to this. Ever. This is the most powerful drug. You've already got it. You were created with it. You were created for success, but you're programmed for failure. And you've got to deprogram yourself every single day with affirmations. Every single day, you've got to use your tongue and your mouth, because it will separate you from success and failure. It will bring the division. That muscle. People say, I'll go to the gym all the time. Yeah, go to the gym, but how much gym have you done with your tongue today? People say, oh, God, I took 3 hours to get ready, my hair, everything nice, ironed the clothes, everything. But what have you done for what's inside you? How many hours have you spent preparing inside you? The thing that really matters. Okay? People buy belief. They buy you before they buy what you offer. They buy you before what you offer. But we don't work on that. We work on our offer. We work on the CMAs. We do everything. But we don't work on you. The people buy the first. So I need some help. Anybody gym, when my time's running up, you've got to tell me, okay, because our time's a bit different. And I want to respect you. But in 2005, 2006, I was introduced as the manager of Escondido office in San Diego County. And I was really excited, and they're going to introduce me, special meeting. And the CEO walks up to the front, David Romero, and he says, I'm very excited to introduce you, Kurt Francis, your new manager. And I walk up to the front very excited. I'm so excited to be helping you guys in your business. And an old man slams his fist down and stands up and says, who the hell are you, boy, to come and walk in here and take Ron's place away? We all love Ron. Who the hell are you? You young whippersnapper? And you see, if you don't use the word in Africa, it's like, what the hell is a whippersnapper? Like, what is it? Wow. What an introduction. And a third of the room walked out. That is my introduction into leadership in real estate. Yep. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you to write a book, Kurt Francis, and bestseller Amazon, and coaching other people, and a lot of your clients are now Amazon bestsellers as well? Who the hell are you? You can't read or write. Who the hell are you? Never finished university and speak at Harvard Club of Boston in front of 125 doctors, lawyers, scientists, entrepreneurs. Who the hell are you, Kurt Francis? Who the hell are you to interview George Russ, apprentice with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's real estate attorney for 47 years? Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you to interview Caitlyn Jenner at Harvard? Who the hell are you, Kurt Francis? Who the hell are you to be with Casey on NBC? Who the hell are you? And the others. Who the hell are you to speak at the 7-figure income speaker in New York? Who the hell are you to be on the Jumbotron in Times Square for NASDAQs? Who the hell are you to speak at the $1 Million Accelerator in New York? Who are you, Kurt Francis? Ask yourself, who am I? Who are you? Ask yourself that. Who am I? Am I just a little average agent? I'm just going to 5 deals, 10 deals a year, 12 deals maybe, 15, oh wow. And that's who I am. Yeah, because my parents didn't do well, and I didn't do well at all those other things. I just passed the real estate exam, you know. Who am I to be a top producer? Who am I to take 10 listings a month? Who am I to be asking 7% listings? Oh, to be working with the affluent. And by the way, I don't like the word luxury. It's just a Kurtism. Because sometimes there's stigmas attached to it. I like the word affluent. Affluent, when I say that, the affluent market, that's just one of my things. Who am I to be the greatest lender, the greatest title rep, the greatest escrow officer, or the great vendors out there? Who am I? Nelson Mandela, my hero, the best president South Africa's ever had, before him and after him, and after him, and before him. I come from a nation of division and nastiness. But that man was the leader, in prison for 27 years. He said, our deepest fear is not that we are weak, Kurt. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. That it is our light that actually frightens us, not the darkness, Kurt. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Who am I? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small, Kurt, does not serve this world. Oh, no, he doesn't. As we are liberated from our own fear of success and different other things, our presence automatically liberates others. That's why you've got a calling to get free from this stuff, because there are other people that are counting on you to be free so they can be liberated. Your clients, your family, your mom, your dads, your kids, your uncles, grandkids, everybody. You've got a responsibility to think big. You are created for success, but programmed for failure. And it starts with a self-image. Who the hell are you to imagine that you can do great things? See, self-image is determined by self-confidence, right? Improve skills. We've got to do that. No one comes out the womb being born, knowing how to read and write. Did you? Did you come out of the womb like that? I could spell, Kurt. I'm like 1 day old. No. We all had to learn that skill. You just have to learn the skill. That's it. You've got what it takes. You don't have to be some special person. You are special. That's who you are. But we talk bad about ourselves and we say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Habit 4, I'm going to go through this very fast. I was in a mansion mastermind in La Jolla, right over the ocean. 21 of us, 22 of us from all over the world, entrepreneurs. I was the only real estate. I spent a lot of time outside the industry because that's where I learned a lot of stuff. I get coached from outside the industry, spend a lot of money on coaching because I want to learn from the world's best marketers. And we were 15 of us, 21 of us from around the world, staying in this mansion. And as you walk in this mansion, there's a massive picture. It's big. And I tried to take the perfect picture with my cell phone on this. Does anyone know what that is? Anybody? Okay. I call this action habit 4 and action 20. Why action 20? Let me just go back there quick. Just look at that. 20% of that picture reveals 80% of the picture. Wilfredo Pareto, Italian economist, said 20% of the people own 80% of the land. 20% of people have got 80% of all the money. 20% of the agents do 80% of all the transactions. Look at this. 20% of your efforts reveals 80% of your results. 20% of your efforts reveal 80% of your results. Go to your calendar and look at it and you'll see. And action 20 is every day walk into that office. No, what's the 20% that's going to give me the 80% results? Every day. And your calendar. Kurt, I've got a problem with escrow. I don't care. That's your marketing time. That escrow can wait. And we always run to the fires and put the some of the, I've learned, no, I'm not looking at that now. People call me, leave a text. I will wait 4 hours until I'm doing that. When we had that mentality of the 20%, and that's what I'm doing now, and nothing changes that. That's when we start succeeding. I've studied successful people earning millions and millions of dollars, and this is how they live. Successful agents all over the place. Our top agent in San Diego, this last year was 1.5 million commission income, Jan Krause, good friend of mine for many, many years. People say, oh, she's so rude. No, honey, she's not rude. That in that time, she speaks to nobody else. She's not there to be nice to you. Excuse me, have you got 2 minutes? No, I don't have 2 minutes. Please close the door behind you. She's nice because her family are counting on her to do that. If you want to be nice, shut the freaking door. Be nice to your family. Your bank account. Become a cow. My dad used to own dairy farms years ago. And he was going away, take my family away. And he said to me, Kurt, I can't leave the farm. I need you to come to the farm and just run the farm for a weekend. Because I want to take mom and my younger brother away. But I want you to look after it. I said, sure, Dad. And because we had a lot of people, our staff, steal thousands of gallons from our milk tank. So my dad said, everyone's got to be there now. We can't just let the farm be by itself anymore. So, but just before the weekend, my dad says the problem, one of the cows could actually calve. And if it calves, it's a Jersey cow, and it might lose a lot of calcium. And it can get a thing called milk fever. And the cow gets all stiff like this, like most of us get, right? And guess what? My dad taught me 2 things to do. I'll never forget it. Guess what? The cow does calve. Guess what? The cow does get milk fever when my dad's away. So the first thing you do, you give it calcium gluconate, find the jugular, big needle like this. I'm trying to get the needle into the jugular, and I'm just about killing the cow, trying to find the jugular. Eventually hit it, shoo, the blood spurts out. I got the jugular. And a friend of mine's watching there and the staff around, and the cow doesn't get up. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I've got to do what my dad told me, the second thing. Get the tractor, and you put a mat there, a big rubber mat, and you roll the cow on. You've got to get the cow standing or the cow's going to die. And I roll up, and I put on, get in the tractor, first time I've ever done it. And I press the hydraulics down, but I press it too fast, and the cow goes flying. And like, you're overreacting, you put something down, the cow's going up and down like that. I thought I'd broken his legs, I've killed this damn thing. But the cow hits the ground, and the cow just ran. And that cow became my dad's best producer. And I said, Mom, don't tell Dad what happened. Well, he knows now, but like he didn't tell him for a few years. But that's what happened. And sometimes we've got to go through shaking. You go through a shaking, you're meant to go through that shaking. That's your time for your release. You've got to be a cow. Close the door, I'm busy. Can't you see I love you so much? But please close the door behind you, honey. It's 20%. Action 20. Oh, if that's not a habit, you're not going to succeed. Not going to succeed. How many of you want to succeed? We know that. Everyone does, right? 1440, what's that? The amount of minutes we have in a day. Whether you're the president or you're a real estate agent, we've all got the same amount of time. The next 5th thing is, we're getting near to the end of the habits. Make an offer every day. Make an offer every day. And what I mean by that is not an offer representing your buyer to the seller. You've got to be making an offer to your clients, to your sphere of influence every single day. Make an offer. Because the more we do that, practice that, the better we get. In fact, I'm going to say this. You may want to write this down. If you're not making an offer every single day, you're not in business. Most people don't make offers every single day. Managers should be making offers every day to recruit people or to let some agents go even. I'll offer you the door out. Yeah, if someone, yep. You've got to offer some clients out sometimes because they don't know how to misbehave themselves and they abuse you. But most people don't. Most people in America are beautiful people. Are you making an offer every day? If you're not in business. Find out every day. Not on the Monday for Monday. No, on Friday, what offer you're going to be making on Monday to who to? And rehearse it. And you rehearse it. If your offer goes bad because you haven't rehearsed it enough. The IIO is not the speed limit in London, in kilometers. The IIO stands for the irrefutable and irresistible offer. Wherever I go around the world and I ask this question, and no, I've never had a hand go up yet. There are 7 segments of making an offer. Has anybody ever had training on that? No, nobody, right? 7 segments. And I spent a lot of money on coaching outside the industry by the world's best marketers. Cost me a lot of money, but I've learned a lot. I want to tell you this. There are 7 segments of making an offer. And our industry desperately needs to do this. Because we will turn things around when we understand it. And it's so simple. It's so simple. But we've never been taught it. The world's marketers don't teach us stuff because they keep it quiet because of themselves. They don't actually want people to know. And it's so simple. And the science behind it. And this is sometime we'll get to do this. Hopefully, Dan, we can talk about this sometime. The 7 segments, because this is the thing that turns people around. Now, I want to say that the bonus habit, right? This would be the 6th. I felt to add this in. I want to say this to you. To get more eyes on you in 2020, I'm going to say something that you're going to feel like, what? So just put your safety belts on, everybody. Hold on tight. Don't run out. Don't meet anybody. Don't ever meet anybody in person, on the phone, on the line, ever, without them knowing who you are. Now, you say, but Kurt, I walked in Starbucks and somebody started speaking to me. I said, I don't want to talk to you. You don't know who I am. I'm not saying that. You're going to talk to them. Okay. But we have a business model that we start going on listing presentations that we never met them and they don't know who we are. And we go into the living room and we first spend the first 30 minutes to tell them how great I am. I'm so great. I'm wonderful. I'm just like, perfect. Everybody sales does that. Everywhere I go. Title reps do it. Lenders do it. Agents do it. I've done it. We all do it. And we lose the power of the appointment. We lose the power of, I call it the application. I don't call it appointments. I've got a system called Class Act. And it's very interesting how your schedule should be. If you just do that, you make a lot of money. But we're not talking about that. But I'm talking about this. Don't meet anybody unless they know who you are. P3 formula position. Who wins the marketing? We'll go through this very quickly. Who wins the struggle at marketing themselves and becoming a contender? Okay? How many would like to sit in that thing over New York? You would do it? Oh, wow. I did one parachute jump, and my first parachute never opened. 50% chances it was gone. Suddenly you start, that earth's coming down really fast. Seriously, that happened. March the 5th. Yep. A few years back. Hey, what we've got to do is create trust, respect, and confidence as fast as possible. And the one who does that wins, right? Where's Jim? Have I got a few more minutes, Jim? Chantal, is that okay? Dan, thank you. So if we learn how to do this, remember the 3 Ps. One is position. Okay, we can talk about this. How do we position ourselves? That we can win the trust, confidence, and respect. The fastest is the one who wins. Okay, always. Especially people don't know. So the 3 Ps are quick. Position, presentation, and perception. The way you present yourself, those are 3 Ps of marketing. By the way, you were told and our industry lied to us, said, we are in the sales industry. Let's say it's the sales industry. No, you're not in the sales industry. The part of sales you do is so much. The majority of what we do is marketing. We are marketers. Sales is like putt-putt, playing putt-putt. No golfer's ever won a great tournament and they didn't know how to hit a ball down the fairway. Most of the time playing golf is hitting that ball down the fairway. Most of the time it's down the fairway. Most of the practicing is about the fairway, the marketing. The small part is on the green. But all agents do, we play putt-putt, 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 and we forget about hitting the ball down, the thing. No golfer just goes and plays putt-putt and practices that. No. So the presentation and the perception of the client really is built on, okay, these three things. What's the first thing you saw there? Anybody? Anybody? What's the first thing you saw there? The typo? Okay, you're smart. You're analytical. You're phenomenal. I need you in my life. Okay? A lot of people see the word grief or grafe. You say it's grief. Is that the typo, right? Okay. The dot. The dot outside there. Who saw the dot? Who saw that dot up there? Was that your first dot you saw, or did you see all the other ones? No, you see the one outside. They all look the same. They're all the same color. They're all the same size. Everything's the same about them. But the one is a little bit higher than the rest, above the rest. And we've got to position ourselves that that's how you get seen. Because we all look the same. We all do the things. We all offer the same thing. But that's how we've got to question. We've got to ask ourselves all the time. So the one winning in marketing is the one who creates the perception, the third P, the perception, based on the positioning and the presentation. And that's what marketing is about. And we understand that principle and the few other formulas I've got. We're not going to go into it now. This is a friend of mine who I met at Harvard. And then I think it was CNN. I think she was part of that. I can't remember. But I met her at Harvard. She used to live under a bridge with her 2 kids. That's where she comes from. Her husband let her go and whatever and did her whatever. She had nothing and she lived under a bridge with 2 kids. She now is a speaker around the world and on television all over the nation, Marianne Parker. And that is presentation. And she knows how to, she speaks on etiquette, by the way. Present yourself at a higher level. Okay, in the eyes of your prospect or the suspect, because they're already suspects of you, right? The eyes of the suspect looking at you. We've got to position ourselves, these 3 things, to be effective. And your clients, because we've got to market ourselves to our existing clients so we lose them, is in the perception, who are you perceived as? Okay, how are you perceived as? How are you being viewed, seen as, looked upon? Okay? The word ace. If you serve in tennis, you serve an ace. It means you serve the fastest and you position the ball. 2 things. You serve fast and you position the ball really fast. We've got to position ourselves an ace, okay, in marketing. Authority, as an authority, as a celebrity, not on Los Angeles or Wall Street, but a celebrity in the eyes of your clients and as an expert. Those 3 things in marketing. Remember, we spend more time marketing than sales. We are marketers, more so marketers than we are salesmen, saleswomen. That's who we are. Dr. Oz, I'll be spending 4 days with him in New York, June the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Can't wait for that. Dr. Drew as well. Can't wait, but this man's taught me a lot. And let me tell you what he says. Celebrity status is powerful. Remember ACE, C's for celebrity. Celebrity status is powerful. He says people tend to trust celebrities to the level they trust their families, or even trust celebrities more than their own families. If you want someone to trust you, remember, trust, respect, and confidence, the fastest wins. Trust, and how we do that? Celebrity status, because people trust celebrities more than they even trust their own families. That's a dangerous statement because there's some crazy celebrities out there. Opinions of celebrities seem to matter. That's what he says. So how do you reposition yourself as an authority, celebrity, and expert without spending gazillions of dollars? How do you do that? So I've got a program. You can talk to me sometime at the back of the next day or this afternoon. Ace Branding, reposition entrepreneurs. I work with, obviously real estate agents. I work with a lot of financial advisors, lenders. I'm repositioning somebody who's running for U.S. Senate in Washington. And reposition him because some of the stuff I said, no one talks about this. For all these campaign managers don't even talk about the stuff you're talking about. And so it's just human psychology, just working with people and helping them. So that's what I really do. And so they come and talk to me about that and Transvigorate. Transvigorate's a new thing starting this week. A lot of people can't afford $1,000 a month coaching. So what I'm doing is saying I'm putting something for $33 a month, and it's going to be a Zoom call or conferencing call. We can all see each other. I'm not here to sell something, but if someone's interested in this, please come and see me. I'm happy to speak to you about that. It's been a total pleasure being here with you guys today. I love Dan Jacuzzi. The first time I heard his name, David Romero told me about this Dan Jacuzzi. I said, what is a cool name? Like, does he sit in jacuzzi all day? Did he design them? Did he create them? And Dan, I learned a lot about you. And then, Dan is a phenomenal example. You're so privileged to have this gentleman, this strong leader, this person who cares about you. Because let me tell you something now. I speak at all these companies. They don't all care about their people. But there's one thing that man does. He cares about his people. And anybody knows them, say, Kurt, I know what you're talking about. And then, right? Let's give him a hand. And I'm in the privilege of spending time with Jim Beach, and man, he's somebody else, isn't he? All right? And then is it Chris from Relocation? Okay. And then Chantel, our incredible Chantel, amazing. And then Jody, come on. And then it was it Linda Schaefer? Is that right? Did I get her name right? Come on. You got the best year. I tell you now, you get fully in. Get fully in with the company. Go for it. Because you know what everyone looks at? Well, the company doesn't have this. We don't have that. Oh, look. Oh, you Eve with the whole garden, but you focus on the one tree. You ugly thing, you're nasty. Yeah, you're bloody nasty. You sound nasty. You little Eve, you. Stop Eving around and start becoming something great. Because you are created for success. But unfortunately, we're programmed for failure. Thank you, everybody.